Hello everyone, this is Mayank Upadhyay, Legal Internet Licensing Company. This is the second part of discussion on relevancy of facts that are produced before the court. In my previous video, I have discussed about Section 6 and Section 7 of Indian Evidence Act. Now we will be starting with Section 8. Section 8 talks about those statements that show about or those that is statements that show the motive, the preparation and the subsequent conduct of the accused or the perpetrator of the offense. So let's discuss this section. Motive. So the motive is the very reason, very purpose of the accused or the offender, which had instigated him to commit that offense. For example, who had stolen a piece of bread from a shop, then the motive behind this theft could be the hunger. So these are the motives are generally the social factors. It could be positive factor, could be negative factor. For example, the motive of killing a person could be for taking revenge, for satisfying own vigilance against that person. The motive could be anything, and the statements showing the statements that could be used to prove the very motive of the offender are relevant under Section 8. Then we have preparation. Although preparation is not punishable except in except some situations that are expressly mentioned in IPC, for like criminal conspiracy or dacoity. Otherwise, preparation on a general rule is not punishable, but the statement showing the preparation was being done and could help the court to derive that offender have done that act. For example, if some person had seen the person who had murdered one before committing that murder, he was buying some poison, some rope and some knife that was used that was and the features of that knife met with the suspected murder weapon. Then the statement of the person who had seen him buying those things could be considered as a relevant statement under Section 8, because it proved this more because it helped to establish the fact against the accused and may help the prosecution to establish the case before the court. Then we have previous and subsequent conduct. For example, if if a lady approached the court, if the lady approached the police station that some person had raped him, and she also said that on previous occasions he had many times he had made vulgar some offending remarks towards me. So these and such and these state and these and some other person also have witnessed this. So means there was an eyewitness of of these actions of the offender against that girl. So the statement that yes, the accused had made those remarks against the women would be relevant under Section 8 for proving the subsequent conduct that would help to build a chain between the facts between the facts and the statement of the victim and the act committed by him. Then we have um, Section 9. Section 9 says facts necessary to explain or introduce relevant facts. If If the fact and issues could be, if the facts if fact and issue needs some substantiating effects for proving it, for explaining it, for supporting it, or for rebuting the so established fact, or for fixing the time and place at which that incident could have occurred, or for showing the relation of the parties involved in the commission and the victim and the perpetrator, then these all the facts would be relevant under section 9. Let's take each one by one. One is the explanation or facts explaining or introducing the fact and issue. The fact, for example, how the statements of the medical examiner, that how much depth the wound is, how did the wound was deadly or not, how much wounds do the body have. These are all the facts are. These all would explain the graveness of the offense, the graveness of the fact in issue, that whether the murder could have, that whether the person could be liable for the murder. Because if the injuries were the deadly, that he would be liable for murder, or could be a case of culpable homicide. So for resolving that issue, whether the act could be the murder or culpable homicide, there is an explanation of the injuries would be relevant under section 9. Then we have support or retribution. For example, if it is proved by the prosecution that the person had stolen the purse of the lady. Now the statements or the statements or documents from the side of the accused, from the defense, refuting the presumption that no, that person could not have been there because he was some other place, then those statements would be relevant to refute the presumption of fact in issues that are established, and that would be relevant under section 9. Then we have to fix time and place. Someone has said that I don't know about the incident, but yes, I have seen that person about 5 to 6 p.m. In front of the lady's house. Then this statement would be relevant, that about what time the incident could have occurred. It could have occurred between that 5 to 6 time or the nearby timing. Then we have showing the relation of parties. For example, that question could be that why this person have stolen the lady's purse, means how did he know him. So the statement of bystanders or other person, the neighbors, that the person was the vegetable seller from whom the lady used to buy vegetables frequently. So that could be the relation, that yes, that's that could be the reason that he know the lady better, that she belongs to an affluent family or the wealthy family. So yes, that's why he chosen that lady for committing this theft. So those are all other statements that would be relevant in the section 9. Then we have section 11. Section 11 simply says that the facts that can be proved that can be used to prove the fact and issue, or the facts that are inconsistent with the proved facts, would be relevant. For example, if it is proved that the person was there in front of the house between 5 and 6, but if the defense could have proved that this person was about 30 kilometers far away at a place when this incident had committed, then then those facts. Otherwise, this fact that where the person was would be irrelevant if once it is proved that he was watching movie or what he was doing. But if he could have proved that due to those acts he could not have present there, then in such situation those irrelevant facts per se could be held to be relevant under section 11. Means any facts that could be proved to that could be proved to be inconsistent with the established fact issue would be relevant under section 11. So that's all about the relevancy of facts as mentioned under Evidence Act. Hope you like this video. Do like and share and subscribe the channel. Thank you.